Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Breaking Uneven podcast. We love to talk shop, uncover the beauty of failures, and play a few games. Today, we have with us the founder of Canonic, Aditi Jain. After graduating from MIT Design Pune, Aditi interned and freelanced as a graphic designer at numerous places before slowly transitioning into a product designer at Paytm and Haptic. Have we missed anything noteworthy from your journey so far, Aditi?
No, I think so far it covers it.
Okay, awesome. So then let's start off with our first segment.
Okay, so we'll start with the Twitter pitch challenge. So Twitter is known for its 280 character limit on every tweet, which sometimes makes it a little difficult to convey your thoughts. It takes about 20 seconds to speak 280
Right.
characters. So we want to transfer this challenge to you. We want you to explain to us Canonic in 20 seconds, but we won't make it easy. We want you to also use an emoji and one hashtag. Do you have any questions?
No, I think that sounds fun. Let's try it.
Perfect. I can start the 20-second timer now.
Awesome. Canonic is a hashtag low code platform for basically doing internal tool development, emoji laptop, and it's basically for agile teams so that they can move fast and grow their products more seamlessly and keep it in house. Did I do that in 20 seconds?
Yes, just under 20 seconds.
That's great. I'm so happy I got that right.
But anyway, so let's start off a little simple. How did you come up with the name, right? What does canonic mean?
Right. So Canonic basically means building blocks, and that's how we imagine product development to be like, wherein code is always reused in every form, and we just wanted to make more reusable and in a more visual format so people can just place it together and build their internal tools.
Yeah, that's very interesting in the way of like building a certain like how your name also relates to like the way you do it and like it's all very like cohesive. So that's interesting. But also just how your like journey started. I saw it on your website that your ideation stage was around May 2020 and then your launch was towards the end of 2020 around October. So how was it starting something and just navigating the pandemic while starting a new company?
Right. So obviously, amongst the four of us, we're four co-founders. One of the co-founders has actually, the main founder rather, Pratham Agrawal. He has previously run his own business, so there was some trust factor around that, and we just took the leap into it. And also, when the pandemic hit, we were already previously, doing a remote work strategy. So when we started working, it was more comfortable and seamless. But on the contrary, I think everyone's families were going through some or the other troubles with COVID. And that was basically the emotional toll that was taking overall. But apart from that, I think working was interesting and fun. And we got a very good focused time to actually, work on the product and just focus completely on that.
You mentioned four co-founders. Was that hard to have so many people having like different opinions and like working with like that many people and decision makers?
All of four of us have previously worked together at Haptic. We were very good friends. And I think that sort of already brought in a sense of responsibility and trust, where we trusted each other's decisions a lot more easily. And from the very beginning, at the initial stage of the product, it was only about product development, which we were previously doing itself. It's later on when we started actually splitting the responsibilities and dividing the roles. And now, over the period of this 1.5, 2 years, we have actually built to that trust on that person for handling that particular core responsibility. So I think it's been a blessing to have so many co-founders and divided roles and responsibilities.
I think there's to a certain extent, having co founders where the roles are divided and you all work remotely is actually a benefit because I've seen, in the case of one of the businesses that I work in, we're three of us co-founders, but we sit out of the same office. So
Yeah.
obviously, daily things like, for example, I'm meant to be handling marketing, one's meant to be handling finance, but we keep
Right.
talking about each other. But that also means inputs and decision making power from each other, which
Yeah.
then kind of leads to a mess. Whereas where if
Yeah,
you're working
for
in
sure.
silos, you've got your responsibility area and you can just go off and sort of
Yeah,
do it.
definitely. I think it's just that's something that we have picked it up from our previous haptic culture, where you're given so much ownership about what you're doing that you have to in turn feel responsible to, succeed in that and take to cater to that particular thing. And that's what we have sort of brought in Canonic as well from the very beginning. A lot of our cultural aspects are quite inspired from haptic. It was a brilliant experience for us.
Nice. So you went from beta launch, sorry, from idea to beta launch in just 6 months, right? October to May.
Yeah.
So what was the idea that y'all had in May, and what did y'all
Hmm.
go to market with in October?
Right. So when we actually started out, this was in passive development in December, and we all quit the jobs and started working full time on this May onwards. So when we started out at that time, we categorized Canonic as a headless CMS. What that means is that you can just go and create your database structure for your product, and you get a automated generated content management system where you can just manage all of your data. So that was the only offering that Canonic was doing at that point, as well as providing auto-generated API. So that was our differentiating factor from the other headless CMSs. That's where we started at, and definitely in October we had a eye opening where people were excited about the product. We got great feedback, and that's when we started talking to more people in the industry, and they recommended that, hey, you guys fit better in low code, no code versus a headless CMS.
Oh, nice. So your first initial set of users, or let's say feedback, actually led to you finding your niche, which is,
Right.
it is the thing, right? When you go to market, you pivot and then end up finding a niche. But in this case, you found the niche in your, let's say, first stage of
Yeah,
pivoting. Then you raised
definitely.
pre-seed after that, right? So the
Right.
pre-seed was raised with the idea of low-code development, not headless
Yeah.
CMS.
Yeah, for sure. That was actually one of the crucial discussions and feedback that we had got from the investors as well. Whoever we would speak with, even they would agree with the fact that we'd fit better into a low code sort of a segment. So yeah, I think that was when we actually decided, and that was the basis of which on which we raised our pre-seed round.
You mentioned that all four of y'all worked at Haptic together, and then like the idea did you say sparked in like December of 2019, and then y'all quit in like May of 2020. Like what made you
Right.
like or like collectively, how do y'all decide that this is the moment that we're ready for the new adventure, the new company, and we're okay to like let go of our current jobs and start something like this? Was there like a moment, or was there a
Yeah.
particular stage in your company that you wanted to reach before quitting, or just like what was your thought process for deciding to quit your job?
So, to be honest, I think we did sort of at some point of time in our life have had similar experience wherein when you're building products, they're very similar, right? But people have to write repeated code about it again and again. And that's sort of an experience we've all had because we've worked with agencies or with clients or in product companies. And we had actually strongly believed in this. Like when we started working out on it, when we had a basic MVP ready, we used it and we realized that yeah, there is some good thing happening here. And then I think it was sort of like a chain reaction where first Pratham left, then Simran left, then I left, and then Karthik left. We were like, we have to come together for this, and it just happened in that sort of a flow.
That's really cool. Like to like work with these people in a different company and then start something of your own and like that chain reaction. Was your employer okay with it? Like seeing what all of your
Yeah.
like drop one by?
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to answer that question.
No worries.
But but yeah, I mean they did get worried about it, like what is happening. But yeah, I think they took it well because one of the greatest qualities at Haptic, what they would tell us is that if you are leaving the company, either leave for starting something of your own or you have a really valid, some personal reason. Otherwise, they never expected people to move out because they were that happy about the culture and so were the employees. So when we told them that yeah, we're planning to move out to start something of our own, they were actually quite encouraging about it.
Oh, that's super nice. Yeah. I think a lot of companies today, especially with the amount of attrition, are happy for employees to like go out and do something on their own because you're still representing the brand of the
Yeah,
company. That today you're the founder
yeah,
of Canonic, but your LinkedIn still says Haptic, so people know that okay,
right.
this person's come from Haptic, and
For
they're
sure,
they're
for
happy for
sure.
people to start out on their own. But yeah, that's it's nice that they recognize that. There's not every company recognizes that easily.
Definitely.
So how did you all go about the fundraising process, right? Who did you all approach? How did the conversation start?
So, I'll be very honest, we haven't reached out to a single investor. Like the moment we were out on product hunt for the next, I think 1 month, we must have been on an investor call every day. Like it was crazy. And then I think within that 1 to 1.5 month duration, we actually really liked the investor we wanted to go ahead with, and it was already sealed. The reason that the round closed by March was because our company wasn't registered by them. We had made a product. Our business wasn't registered in US or in India. So that is what took the time to actually get the investment into our accounts. Otherwise, it was a done decision within that 1 month of our discussions itself that we were very clear who we wanted to go with.
Oh wow, that's super cool. And does you are you generally, for example, now by the time y'all raised the pre-seed, y'all had this idea of a low-code platform, but
Hmm.
let's say with your next set of users, you found another pivot or another niche that's even more
Right.
supportive of what you're trying to create. Would your
Yeah.
investor be open to that? Like, how how much flexibility do you still have after raising funding?
To be honest, I think that was one of the best characteristics about our investors. They always just told us that, hey, where are you stuck? And you tell us, and we'll try and help you out with whatever is best knowledge that they have. They never would force upon their decision that, hey, I think you need to take this step. But they'd let us sort of, they'll uh, connect us to the relevant people who could help us get certain answers. Or, just guide us in a way where wherever we want to take the company, it goes in that direction. And yeah, like when we say about further narrowing it down, like I said, we started out as a headless CMS, then we moved to a low code backend. And the reason that we further narrowed it down or slightly pivoted it was that low code backend is again vast. You can do backend of apps, you can do backends of websites, you can do, internal tools, dashboards, so many things. The reason to sort of further narrow it down and then solve for whatever is required to match that use case is why we sort of moved further into that direction. And that was internal tools. So earlier we were low code for backend, and now we're low code for internal tools completely, which includes backend and front end.
That it's nice to see like how supportive your investors are and like the relationship you have with them because I think that's so key when you're building something, especially because I feel like sometimes they can have an opinion
Right.
that might not match like with yours, and then decision making just becomes harder. So it's nice how like everything seems so seamless and works so well together.
I think we've just gotten lucky in the initial phase.
The thing is, investors also try to invest in the founders, more than the
For
company
sure.
itself, because what's going to drive it, whatever the product is, is the founders itself. So
Definitely.
they're like, if this team is good enough, the product will be great no matter what it ends up
Right.
being. And I mean, you take any big company like Amazon, Meta, all of them, from what they started to what they're right now, has nothing to do with the initial
For
product,
sure.
right? It's a whole different suite of things. But
So,
one thing that stands out to me,
yeah, I was
sorry, go
just
for it.
pointing out that like there's product market fit in today's world, there's founder market fit, and most of the investors sort of look for that. That has this founder had that kind of
Yeah.
an experience where they can actually solve for this problem, and that's what most of the people look for. And I think our past experience was slightly relevant there for us.
I think that's a very, very cool insight. Not one that I've spoken to VCs, spoken to many founders that I've raised, and that's not something I've ever heard. It's very interesting insight. But, speaking about the product, one thing that stood out to me was the pricing model. Only from the perspective that there was the usual free individual team, etc. But then there's also the ad hoc
Right.
add-ons, right? Um, and that's not something that's super common because people generally want the customer to adhere to one of the buckets. Um, but yeah, just a question on how come you chose to go
Right.
with that.
So one of the strategies that we had in our company is bottom up, wherein we want a mass of people to come in and build products versus us going and getting one or two clients and then building the product according to them. Our approach was more to get the masses. And for doing that, I think there is a bigger requirement to have as much flexibility in your pricing strategy because you'll have individual developers, you'll have team based developers, you'll have freelancers, you'll have agencies, and all of them might not need this similar capacity but would want to choose the plan and still add on something to it. So that is where we sort of, thought that it'd be great to have this and let's see how things work out and then we can further improvise the strategies.
Interesting, yeah.
Another question I guess I had was, your business is very like B2B and you're looking at like other people looking for like products, for like back end structures and things like that. But in this like day and age, I feel like social media, for example, has like completely changed the way companies do like B2C marketing and things like that. Is there any way that y'all have taken advantage of social media, or does your structure still need like the traditional way of working?
Right. I think so. Our actually the right marketing strategy that we felt for the kind of target audience that we were looking for is content strategy. We did have that phase of us where we tried, social media ads, we tried content marketing and like so SEO and so all of these strategies. And what has worked the best for us is actually SEO, and that sort of comes down to content. So that's the main thing that we're focusing on. The thing that helps us further is like us posting content on not only our own blog, but also on stuff like Medium or you can say Dev2 or Stack Overflow, which are more developer focused platforms where people are all, if you know about developers are always searching for solutions on the internet. And that was like the idea where we felt like we can actually get hold of them in the right manner and get them to, learn more about the product. So yeah, like our strategy was more towards that. Social media definitely is a place to, you have to be on social media. Like there's no escaping. Everyone will go and check your social media after a point and be like, okay, how many people are there and what are the posts? So I think it's a channel that has to be maintained, but our core focus would still be content marketing.
Yeah, I think it's not easy to find the right channel, especially with
Yeah.
the number of channels that there's available today and the unlimited amount of money that you can spend on each channel. Um, yeah, it's quite tough, and especially it's also tough to compete with the fact that, for example, you might, let's say if you're a startup, have a certain amount of budget, but then there's a long-standing industry player that has 30, 40, 50 times your budget, so their visibility is that much more. And
Right.
so yeah, the more strategic, more brand building channels are generally what you have to rely on then.
Right.
But I think with that thought, we should move on to our next challenge. So this is called the Dream Team. Right. So the point of this challenge is we're going to show you 8 industry leaders
Mm-hmm.
and 3 positions to be filled at Canonic. Um,
Okay.
you have to choose 3 people out of these 8 and choose the positions that the top 3 positions that are most important to you for them to
Got
fill.
it.
Right. So
Got it. Let's try it.
let's try it. So if you want, you can tell me the positions first that you like.
Mm-hmm.
So would you want?
I think I might go with a COO and a person who is really good with operations. And for that, I might go with um,
So we've got Mark Benioff, Salesforce, Sheryl Sandberg from Facebook, Stuart Butterfield from Slack, Reed Hastings from Netflix, Hoteng Ma from Tencent, Indra Nui from PepsiCo, Mary Barra from GM, and Melanie Perkins from Canva. So like what we've started, this list has been curated, using new age technology
right,
companies, and then like all the way from really old age, got nothing to do with tech
right.
companies.
I think I'm gonna go
So
with Stuart Butterfield and like maybe pick him up for the COO role. Yeah.
okay, awesome. What's your next
Uh,
role?
Next one, I'm gonna go with let. So, can I pick a different role as well? Like, does it have to be the? Oh,
Yeah, anything. It can be whatever
got
you
it,
want
got
them
it.
to be.
I would pick maybe um Indra Nui for doing inventory management or like maintaining all of the food and HR resources at the company. We'd get a great supply there. And then let's say I'm going to pick, um, I think I'm going to go with Reed Hastings. And the role that I would like to give him would be like Chief Entertainment Officer. So I think I picked one serious one and the other two more for the fun aspects of it.
No, that's super interesting to see. But since you mentioned that Stuart Butterfield is your serious COO,
Mm.
any particular reason why?
So I just feel like Slack is an amazing product. We've been using it for like ages now. I mean, I think as far as I can remember, I've been working and I've been using Slack. And I think it just has a very fun aspect to itself, like I just love the brand. So yeah, I think I would go with Stewart Butterfield. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Um, yeah, that's it for the dream team, and with that, we can go on to our final segment.
which is the rapid fire. So
Oh
we'll
my
ask you
God.
questions and you just have to give us fast and rapid answers. The first one, how many all-nighters did you pull in your first year of Canonic?
Can I say like a combined team's all-nighter state? I think that must have been in the first year, a combined must be equivalent to at least 2 to 3 months. Like it was crazy the number of
Wow.
like I think even now we're at a stage where there are at least 4 all-nighters in a week maybe.
That's a lot.
Wow,
Yeah.
so definitely you.
Oh, I'll go to the next question because like this is something we can discuss in a bit. But did you
Yeah,
ever question whether it was worth it?
not at all. Never. I mean, I think it's been an amazing learning experience. Not just working on Canonic, but being so differently working with, my co-founders as well. I mean, we've seen so many skills being picked up from everyone. So it's been amazing.
That's great. One word to describe your emotion when you first raised money.
I think I was just like perplexed. I was like, I couldn't believe it, or like, I was just, it was a very special moment, in fact, for us, because there was just too many things happening in that moment. Like, we couldn't believe it, but we were very excited at the same time.
The emotion when you first fired someone.
I don't think we've found anyone yet. Maybe in my previous workplace, I must have helped. But yeah, I don't think so. In Canonic, I've had that experience. In fact, everyone leaving has, if anyone has left, they have joined back with us and worked as a consultant, maybe. But nobody has left or parted ways as of yet.
That's good. That's good. Weirdest place you've worked from?
Yeah. Um, Weirdest space. Okay. I think maybe in the basement, like in our house's basement. And I wouldn't call it weird, but we did take like a vocation where, we went to a place, all four founders went to a place and we were working from there. So I wouldn't call that a weird one. It was a brilliant one. But yeah, basement is one of the other ones.
Would you ever retire?
No. That'd be like boring, I think. And at least not at the moment. I believe that I wouldn't want to. But yeah, like everyone evolves and changes. I don't know
Yeah.
what the future holds. Maybe if I get super rich, I'll for sure retire.
Which hobby of yours did your work kill?
I think socializing, like it did went down. Like, and plus COVID added like another add-on on top of that. Majorly it would be socializing, but other hobbies are, I think, fine. Not that bad.
That's good. Books or podcasts?
I think I'd go with podcasts. Like I do like listening to audiobooks these days. Like plus you don't have as much time to read through the novels as well. So I would anyway pick an audio medium.
Okay. iPad or notebook?
I use notes on my Mac, so but no notebook for sure for me. I don't remember when was the last time I used it apart from whiteboard, yeah. But notebook I think is far away as of now.
Your favorite social media platform?
Twitter.
Okay. Okay. That concludes the rapid fire segment, and brings us to the end of
Yay!
our conversation.
Thank you so much for joining us. A really good conversation, and found something. The thing that stood out to me from the entire call was the founder market fit. I think that was an awesome insight. Thank you so much for that.
Mhm.
We hope you enjoyed the games, and that they didn't trouble you too much.
They were fun. I think this is a really interesting podcast format, and kudos to you guys for coming up with this. And thank you so much for having me over here.